everyone, welcome back to Live Darts. We're here with the former champion of the world, Bob Anderson, here in Skegness for the MDA and Modus event. Bob, first of all, are you still enjoying the exhibition scene?
Yeah, I certainly am. I'm not doing quite as much as I used to do. Basically because I'm doing what I want to do now. You know, I'm coming up 72 now, so I'm not a spring chicken anymore. But I pick out the ones I want to do and I enjoy doing them.
Great field here tonight as well, full of legends. We've got Dennis Priestley that we don't see very often, obviously Raymond, Peter. It's a real exciting field for this fans here.
I think so too. You know, it's kind of who's who of yesteryear, with one or two who are still doing it today, which is great.
How is the game? Does it still excite you when you play?
Well, it still excites me and I still love the game. I can't say that I'm as consistent as I used to be, which was always my hallmark, was consistency. So now I'll have a game that'll beat anybody in the world, and then the next two, my dead budgie beat me. But so, you know, you pays your money and takes your chance, really. I can't expect to perform in the way I did. So I have to accept that, but it's a bitter pill to swallow.
We know you still follow the modern day game as well. World Cup's just happened. Thoughts on the World Cup?
I'm delighted for my namesake. Gary lives just down the road from me, literally about 10 miles down south of me in Somerset, and I'm very pleased. You know, it's about time Scotland won something.
As well, Paul Lim still throwing a mean dart as well for Singapore.
Yeah, but he's 64, I think, isn't he? He's only a puppy yet. See? But yeah, he still plays a great game of darts, and yeah, I'm pleased for him. It's good.
As well, modern day darts, it's talked about quite a lot. Obviously, you had rivalries back in your day with Jocky and Eric, and we're getting them today. Do you think it's a good thing for the sport?
I think there needs to be a little bit of passion, and certainly there are going to be clashes of personality in every walk of life, and darts is no exception. And I think it probably spices things up a little bit and makes it more interesting for the crowd if they know that there's a little bit of previous, and see how the boys behave. It's good. I think most of the time they toe the line pretty well.
I'd say you touched on the behaviour there. There's a lot made of it. Do you think they have overstepped the mark in recent times, or do you think it's been storming a teacup and blown out of proportion?
Good question. Personally, there was always room for aggression. In my game, I was playing my best when I was aggressive. I wasn't aggressive to my opponent. I was aggressive to that thing on the wall that I was chucking at. And but I would party if I hit a decent finish or won a game on a decent finish. I'd turn around and celebrate, but I wouldn't do it right up in front of my opponent's nose. I think perhaps that goes a little too far, and sooner or later someone's going to react in a way that perhaps they might regret later.
Speaking of regret, the DRA fines as well goes hand in hand with this. 21,500. I know it's for separate offences, but just that sum of money for a fine is it justified?
Well, first and foremost, it shows how far darts has come, doesn't it?
Yes.
I mean, you go back in our era, you probably got fined a tenner for the same thing. Just before I retired, Barry Hearn said to me, "The big money's going to come just too late for you, Bobby." He was right.
Obviously, one of the founding members of the PDC as well, back in 92, 93, when this was all happening, did you ever envisage where we are to this day, that it was going from there to there?
I could see the game growing, and there were endless possibilities, given the right captain of the ship, should I say. I'm perhaps surprised that it's grown as fast as it has, as quickly as it has, but I'm delighted it has. Very proud every time I look at the boys and I watch the shows and I see the viewing figures and I see the popularity around the world. I think, well, in some small way I had something to do with that.
Well, I think you had more than something to do. Obviously, the 16 of you were bold and brave beyond recognition for the sport that you loved.
Well, we did stick our neck on the block.
Do you ever sometimes think what happened if it hadn't have gone right?
I try not to. I'm sure that there was that possibility, but I was equally confident in my own ability and the abilities of my co-founders to carry the day, and that we did.
Obviously as well, documentary about Jocky that's recently come out. What a character. Obviously never had the pleasure of meeting Jocky, but just from things like that you can see that he was a larger than life character.
Oh, he was that, all right. Absolutely. I mean, Jocky and I crossed swords on several occasions. it was inevitable that we weren't going to see eye to eye. I'm 6'3" and he was only 5'7", I think, or something like that. But he was an absolute dynamo, a tremendously talented, pugnacious, sometimes offensive, but what a dart player. When I first started watching and joining the ranks of the top boys, I watched Jocky throw, and his eye-hand coordination was unbelievable. I mean, in the words of, I think it was Lee Trevino, in the golfing terms, he said he got all the questions wrong, but the answer's right. So, I mean, you'd never ever say, hey, look at Jocky's style, that's the one you want to copy. No. He did everything wrong, but got everything right.
In an ideal world, would you have liked to have seen Jocky play in the modern Premier League? If you're a fan at home.
How about Jocky? I'd like to play in the modern Premier League. Yeah, we'd all like to turn the clock back, wouldn't we? I think Jocky, the character he was, you know, why not? It would have been great.
Not only the older heads as well, but the youth of today, when we see the JDC tour and the development tour, some of these averages and performances these young lads are putting in, the sport's in the best place it's ever been in from top to bottom.
I think so, without a doubt. And it shows the strength. And the game is growing day by day. Youngsters coming in who are showing prodigious talent. And they are going to be the world champions of tomorrow. But there'll be others coming in the pipeline now.
I think the fans' favourite tournament, the match play, is also on the horizon as we head back to Blackpool. I can just see by the smile on your face, just the word match play brings a smile.
It was a huge tournament. You know, I never got lucky enough to win the match play at Blackpool. I won the world match play back in the BDO days. A different tournament. But I enjoyed playing at Blackpool immensely. I got a lot of feeling for Blackpool. I worked there for quite a while. I got a lot of friends in Blackpool. But playing at the Winter Gardens there, that was something really special. And, you know, I think I made semi-final one year, and that's the best I ever got.
Gary Anderson, as you said, back winning the World Cup and back to defend his match play title. That can only be a good thing for the sport, that the Flying Scotsman is back and healthy as well.
Sure, yeah. In Blackpool as well. I mean, there's an awful lot of, from north of the border, come to Blackpool for their holidays, and they all time it to watch Gary Anderson win again. That would be great.
As well, Michael Van Gerwen's also talked about in legend circles, even though he's still so young. Where do you rate Michael as a darting performer at such a young age?
I think he's a magnificent darter. There's no question about it. But don't ask me to compare him with Taylor at his absolute best, because, you know, that would be too fine a line. I think Phil is probably still, in my mind, the greatest player ever to tread the hockey. Michael's not far behind that.
And Gary, I'm guessing, isn't far behind either.
Well, certainly not. Huge talent. With a name like Anderson, he should have.
Going to put you on the spot. If you had to pick a match play winner now, who would your front runner be?
Do you know what? I'm going to stick my neck out here. James Wade.
I like that. I like that pick. Bob, it's an absolute pleasure speaking to you here for Live Darts. Thank you very much for your time, as always.
My pleasure.
Pleasure. Thank you.
you.